Excellences, India welcomes all of you. Before officially starting the meeting, I extend my deepest condolences to those who suffered from the natural disaster. I pray that all the injured will recover at the earliest. In this difficult time, we, the entire world, the entire communities stand for them, and we were ready to help with the possible assistance. From a few kilometers away, we gathered here and stand as a pillar for the future world. I now introduce the theme of the meeting as One Team, One Dream, Great Success. There is a need for a human-centric approach to address global challenges. This is the time to give the entire world a new direction. Friends, this is the time to promote new solution. I proposed to make African Union as the permanent member of this G20.
Respected dignitaries, global energy security risk have increased sharply because of steeply rising oil import demand in developed and more importantly developing countries. The narrowing margin between oil supply and demand which has driven up prices. The volatility of oil prices arising from international tensions, terrorism and the potential for supply disruption. The concentration of known hydrocarbon reserves and resources in a limited number of the world's sub-region. The restricted access to oil and gas companies for developing hydrocarbon reserves in some countries. The rising cost of developing incremental source of energy supplies, the lengthening supply route, and the lack of adequate investment along the energy supply chain, including the electricity sector. Thank you.
It is my great pleasure to participate in this summit. International cooperation is very important for today's global challenges. Economic growth is a key factor in reducing poverty, and it also provides the fiscal space for countries to address other social issues. Economic stability is the foundation for successful economic growth and development. I ensure Australia will always encourage the global leaders to promote economic growth and stability. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. I think the Indian presidency has taken huge step forward by incorporating the African Union into the G20. We believe that the war linger in time and it is a very determinant to the world. And it has also broken the economic balance of the world. The world is dealing with the food and climate crisis, which we are not solving any of it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Presidency and dignitaries. Government in producing and consuming can increase risk by promoting investment in the energy sector through the provision of framework, clarity environments, and tax incentives to get a fair and transparent process to foster the public-private partnership needed to promote and protect investment in existing new oils and natural gas supplies by removing to trade and investment. By removing barriers to trade and investment for both the private sector and public energy companies, by encouraging the mutual self-interest of energy producers and consumers to secure long well as new forms of cooperations to facilitate the financing of resource development. For this, we have to focus on global governance reform and multilateralism. But for us, that is the big challenge with climatic change. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We gather here at G20 at a particularly challenging time in the world for geopolitics, but also citizens all around the world. People are struggling with increasing cost of living, the impacts of inflation, about the increasing impact of climate change. So it's so important that we come together to talk about these issues, exchange frank views, and discuss how as the global community. As 20 largest economies in the world, we can address the challenges that are faced by all our citizens and move towards a more peaceful, more stable, and hopefully a more prosperous world. The G20 brings together countries with very different perspectives, but Canada is able to advance our priorities and understand with our allies the importance of protecting rules-based international order, multilateralism, the fight against climate change, the focus on creating inclusive prosperity, opportunities for us and those who work hard to joining. During this summit, we have reached a free trade agreement with Indonesia. We are discussing investment in clean and nuclear energy around the world. Thank you.
Good afternoon, colleagues. It gives me great pleasure to attend this G20 Summit. I thank to the President of G20 for the warm hospitality. Today, the transformation of a scale not seen in a century is occurring across the world. Humanity faces unprecedented opportunities and challenges. As the leaders of major countries, we should not let our vision be blocked by the fleeting clouds. Rather, we must see the world as one community with a shared future, shoulder our responsibility for history, take historical initiative, and move history forward. I pointed out at this forum that prosperity and stability would not be possible in a world where rich become richer while poor are made poorer, and countries should make global development more inclusive, beneficial to all, and more resilient. China placed development at the center of the G20's macroeconomic policy coordination for the first time, and the summit adopted the G20's action plan on the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. And the summit is initiative on supporting industrialization in Africa and least developed countries. To build such a world, we need to channel more resources to such fields as trade, investment, development cooperation, and strengthen more development institutions. There should be more bridges of cooperation and favor small yards, high fences, so that more and more developing countries will be better off and achieve modernization. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Delegates of G20 Summit countries, we support a deep form of global governance and international financial institution, and the World Bank must reflect today's reality. We need to ensure that emerging countries have a more significant role to play. France has allocated 0.5% of GDP to development projects, and I encourage the nation to replicate this global effort. We encourage the International Fund for Agriculture Innovation to increase the efficiency and productivity of agricultural systems affected by conflicts and war. I extend France support for the International Solar Alliance and its commitment to assist all other supporting countries. Thank you.
Good afternoon, delegates. It's great to be back at the G20 Summit. We are often focused on the problems and not on the solution. In our interconnected and interdependent world, that is simply not enough. That's why a summit like this, focusing on both the solution and their global nature, is so useful. No matter where you come from or which field you work in, climatic action, global governance, migration, or fighting poverty, or advancing human rights, all of these pressing challenges have one thing in common. We will only be able to address them successfully if we find new ways of global cooperation. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all of these claims are always justified, but we must adjust them if we want to encourage the powers in Asia, Africa and America to join us building and defending a stable global order. So, what does it mean in practice? First, we need to substantially broaden the scope of our engagement with the global south. If countries get the impression that we only approach them because we are interested in the raw materials or because we want their support on UN resolution, it shouldn't surprise us that their willingness to cooperate is limited at best. So, here is my conclusion. Yes, there are many challenges to our existing international order, probably more than ever before 8 decades. And at the same time, the potential for global cooperation on equal terms was never greater than today. Our focus should be on unlocking that potential, just like you are doing through your work. So, thank you for being a part of this summit.
Good afternoon, delegates. Poverty and hunger challenges impact developing countries, their sustainable development and their energy transition agendas. The G20 must take concrete actions to help achieve the SDGs. Indonesia is rich in geothermal resources, and we plan to phase out coal fire and all fossil fuel power plants within the next 15 years. Our plan includes building over 75 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity during this time. Indonesia is dedicated to optimizing the potential of 557 million tons of carbon credits as a country with the largest carbon storage capacity. Globally, we offer this opportunity to the world. We hope this will make a positive contribution to the world as the United Nations strives to do. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have to remember that the G20 nation represents the total of the global population. 75%. Good afternoon, everyone. We
have to remember that the G20 nation represents a total of two-thirds of the global population, 75% of trade and 80% of the world's gross product. The success of the presidency of this G20 forum was strategic. We have to show that we are attentive to the needs of global south countries and that we do not clashes between the countries in the north and those in the south. Then there is the matter of artificial intelligence, which was instead focus of our address. During today's panel session, as I had already talked about G7 in Hiroshima at the European Council, I believe world leaders must focus more on the issue of artificial intelligence. I said frankly, today technology is developing very fast and I not get impression over ability covered at the same rate. Thank you.
The Fuel Alliance, the Global Biofuel Alliance, was launched by the leaders of India along with leaders from several countries, including India, UK, Saudi Arabia and Argentina.
Good evening, leaders. Infrastructure in the foundation of the country's development. Quality infrastructure investment promoted by the Partnership with Asia for Global. Infrastructure and investment is essential to realize Indonesia's G20 theme. Recover together, recover stronger. We also welcome the launch of the Just Energy Transition Partnership with Asia, which will support Indonesia's efforts towards the 1.5-degree climate goal. In the digital sector, Australia has been working to support the development of the telecommunication company covering 6 Pacific Island countries. Japan and United States are going to support this initiative. It is important that infrastructure development and development finance to end are carried in line with the G20 principles for quality infrastructure investment, transparently and fairly other international rules and standards. Thank you.
I welcome all of you delegates. I belong to the generation that fought against aspiration authoritarianism for social justice and democracy, and I came from a great people who decided to establish through peaceful means a new history for my country. We allocate $1.7 billion each year to support 4,39,000 families in Mexico and 40,000 in Guatemala, Honduras and El Salvador. In 6 years, more than 1 million hectares have been reforested with the planting of 1.1 billion trees. The idea includes the global commitment to summit goals. With this, we would help mitigate global warming and restore the social fabric by helping communities get out of poverty. The proposal is to stop sowing wars and instead sow peace and sow life. Thank you.
Glad to see you all. The establishment of a new coordinating entity, the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty, received support. This initiative, personally championed by the President of Brazil, aims to expedite progress towards the complete eradication of hunger in line with Sustainable Development Goals, which despite being long and rows have not been effectively implemented. Although this ought to be accomplished by 2030, I am hopeful that such an alliance will enhance outcome in this domain by the Sustainable Development Goals. Russia has become a participant in this mechanism. We have already declared our intention to contribute our best practices to the project portfolio under Alliance auspicious. Thank you.
Peace be with you. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the majestic excellences and highnesses leaders of G20 countries and to everyone who has participated and contributed to our meeting from all the country. This year, the G20 has adopted priorities that we worked on together to implement, on top of which is addressing the healthcare, economics and social impacts. We also took necessary measures to protect lives and livelihoods. Thank you.
Good morning, leaders. Working together with the G20 members and building a partnership across society, South Africa will seek to harness global will and capabilities to confront these challenges. We all seek to achieve more rapid, inclusive and economical growth. We all seek a more just and equal world and the world in which the poverty, hunger are eradicated. We all seek to avoid the worst effect of climate change and to preserve our planet for the future generation. This G20 provides us with the platform to pursue these collective goals. South Africa has adopted the theme of solidarity, equality, sustainability for its G20 presidency. In line with our theme, we will seek to strengthen and advance the international efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. Thank you.
My heartfelt gratitude to all country leaders. At this summit, our aim is to show the world that democracies like UK, not authoritarian regimes, are leading the fight against global challenges like development and climate change, and to strengthen ties and forge new partnerships. And security for the British people, we are calling for the fundamental reforms of the World Bank. Instead of loading countries with debt, I was also clear about the importance of maintaining stability, international law as the basis for stable relations. China is a permanent member of UN Security Council, world's second largest economy, world's largest emitter of carbon dioxide, and has growing influence on others. Thank you.
I am deeply grateful to you for the presidency of G20. You were excellencies and representative from international organization. The rules-based international order has been the foundation from which to promote humanities, peace and representative from international organization. The rules-based international order has been the foundation from which to promote humanities, peace and prosperity since the end of the World War II. The international community has promoted global peace and economic growth through the United Nations and multilateral trade routes. However, we are currently facing unprecedented political crises and challenges, including pandemics, geopolitical conflicts, and climate changes. To build a free, peaceful, and prosperous future, we must defend and strengthen the rules-based international order based on the spirit of solidarity and cooperation. Universally accepted rules must be safeguarded strongly while making other rules of the past better suited to the changing time by addressing their shortcomings. We also need to establish new rules as required in the future. First, without expectation, universally valid principles and rules must continue to be respected. The Republic of Korea will continue to implement a comprehensive support program that encompasses the fields of security, humanitarian aid with the solidarity with international community. Thank you.
Happy to meet you all dignitaries. Throughout this day, we have discussed that we live in a truly volatile global economy with obviously a changing climate. We have understood and learned our lesson that it was an unhealthy and sustainable dependency, and we want reliable and forward-looking connections. This is why we launched a partnership for global infrastructure and investment PG2. We are joining forces to give our partners a powerful and positive offer to help build the global infrastructure that we all need for sustainable growth. So invest in renewable energy, transport corridors, digital connections that people can trust. On the European side, the contribution is a so-called global gateway. It is our Euro 300 billion investment program for abroad for the next 5 years, combined with the wish to harness the power and the knowledge of the private sector. And we are deeply convinced that this will be a game changer for two reasons. We are investing in developing geothermal energy. We are engaged in talks with India on renewable hydrogen and with Chile on critical raw materials. We are launching a digital alliance in Latin America to build fiber optic cables and satellite connectivity. If we align our investment strategies and crowd in the private sector that is crucial, I think we can maximize our joint impact. Let us bundle our forces and make a positive difference in investment globally. Thank you.
Thank you for your hospitality and your global leadership in making the world fairer and more just in fighting inequalities. Today, the world balanced on a knife edge with war and conflicts across the world, hunger, poverty, and the dramatic effects of climate change every week and everywhere. On top of that, the rule of force is replacing the rule of law. These are threats against all of us. We all face a paradox. We can make great achievements in many fields, sciences, green technology, and artificial intelligence, to name but a few. Yet, we are unable to eradicate the extreme hunger and poverty. The world is and will remain a multipolar world. Yet, we are unable to eradicate the extreme hunger. We have to set the rules together and put them into action together. Unfortunately, our system is unequipped to tackle today's and tomorrow's challenges. First, we need more solidarity and more inclusivity for more legitimacy. Second, we need more peace and be more welcome that the African Union is at this table. Africa had to wait much too long for this. It had been long-standing request of the Union. However, it is not enough. For more legitimacy, the world must be more inclusive and reforming the multilateral development. Bank is an important step in the right direction. Our European has taught us two things. First, peace is the most powerful and sustainable security guarantee. Second, the best way to fight or eradicate an idea is to come up with a better one. The European Union is always be on the side of cooperation and dialogue. The European Union is always be on the side of justice and fairness. The European Union is always be on the side of those fighting for United Nations, on the side of those fighting for poverty and climate change. Together, if we want, we can change the course of history. Thank you.
Excellence. The state of food security in the world is alarming, with acute poverty rising for the first time in decades and the number of hungry peoples in the world increasing by more than 152 million since 2019. Our African continent is most affected by poverty and hunger in the world, with 1 in 5 people living in the malnutrition conditions, and more than 300 million Africans are expected to chronically undernourished by 2030 if no action is taken. Africa's difficult food situation is due to many interrelated factors, including economic imbalances and the resulting fragilities, and deep social disparities, as well as armed conflict, political instability, and rapid population growth, and the effects of climate change, including drought, flood, and insufficient agricultural productions. We are convinced that the fight against poverty and hunger is only effective if it is collective. Through effective international cooperation and multilateral partnerships, we can promote sustainable agriculture, social protection system, education, and climate adaptation in a way that will positively and strong influence. The African Union strives to encourage the continental and international partnerships and implement reforms that prioritize the fight against poverty and hunger across the continent. Thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, let me convey my warmest appreciation to all the delegates for entrusting us with your time these past few minutes here. I appreciate the thoughts set out by so many speakers as well. Apart from the obvious reason that we are hosting these events, I do believe that our discussion on the broad concept of Indo-Pacific have been very opportune. There is now a visible trend of countries subscribing to this concept. That is understandable because there is an incontrovertible geographic logic to the Indo-Pacific. I thank you all for being here today, and once again my thanks to all the organizers for what has been a successful event. Thank you very much.